And still on the 80th UNGA, we're now being joined by the Minister of State Industry via Zoom, John Enoh, to speak more on development right there in New York, United States of America. Many thanks for joining us, sir. Honorable Minister, can you hear me?
I'm glad to join you.
All right, great.
Yes, I can hear you. Right.
Thank you. Now, just a moment ago, we saw you join world leaders at UNGA80. Could you share with Nigerians why this particular event, talking about the launch of the Africa's fourth industrial development decade, is so important, and what role Nigeria is playing?
Well, the IDDA 3, was it spanned between 2016 and 2025. So it became very imperative that you need to, working with other partners, the AU, Afri-Exim Bank, AFDB, UNECA, organize this, high-level advocacy event, for IDDA, for, industrial development decade for Africa, the fourth edition. And I think, Nigeria participated at this. I mean, I took part in a high level, regional integration and partnerships. And, spoken in Nigeria, we had just validated the national industrial policy. So it became a showcase, really, at the event. And, just recently, you'll also discover that yesterday or 2 days ago, Nigeria's GDP figures for, the first quarter of 2025, indicated that, we had grown upwards of about 4.3%, which was the highest in 4 years. And guess what is driving that growth? Is the oil sector and industry. What it means is that the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing something right in terms of manufacturing and industry, in terms of actualizing the seventh, agenda of the 8-point agenda, which is accelerating diversification of our economy through industry, manufacturing, innovation, and all of that. So we are now at the moment in which industry is beginning to contribute, as handsomely and drive our GDP growth, that is targeted at, Mr. President's 1 trillion economy. So Nigeria's participation at this was quite useful, quite, apt, talking about policy. We've just validated policy, talking about regional integration. Nigeria is at the forefront of the African Continental Trade Area, playing leadership in terms of creating value chains, so that Nigeria's petrochemicals, for example, make sense in terms of the plastic industry in Côte d'Ivoire. And then in terms of partnership, Nigeria is also at the forefront, working with partners like, Afri-Exim, partners like UNIDO. We have just signed the PCP, Program for Country Partnership, under this administration. All of these continue to give the right signals and the right feeling towards the growth of industry. And Nigeria therefore strongly identifies with the fact that this fourth, IDDA that, the advocacy event has held today, signals for African continent the fact that industrialization, this becomes the decade for industrialization for Nigeria, for Africa. And why not? I mean, we've been so resource dependent. What we hope is that the milestones, globally, Africa's contribution manufacturing is less than about 2%. The hope is that in measuring the gains of IDDA 4, that we're going to see significant progress, a significant scaling up of this contribution. So I think that Nigeria's participation was quite appreciated, and we more or less, still the show in terms of the various things that we announced at this, high-level event.
Many thanks, Honourable Minister, for your intervention. Indeed, you have touched on so many other issues we would have loved to talk about. But of course, when you return to the country, I would have you with us to talk more about the developments at UNGA80 and the benefits to Nigeria. Many thanks once again, Minister of State Industry, John Enoh, for joining us on News Extra.